So here we go. How long have you been using Hartke amplifiers?
You know, I've been using Hartke gear since as far back as 1986, I believe, or 87 is when I first started using it. And at that time, Hartke didn't even make amplifiers; they just made cabinets. So I started using the aluminum cone speakers, similar to what they have now as the XL series. They were all aluminum. Now I use the this new high drive series, which is both a combination of paper and aluminum cone, which works good for me in Megadeth because the aluminum cone gives that punch and that snap, like for the Rust in Peace and some of the older thrash stuff. But the paper is a little bit warmer and adds a little bit thicker, fuller tone. So when we play more recent things like Euthanasia, cryptic writing songs and things like that, it has a little bit wider, fatter sound to it than just what the aluminum did. So that, for me, I use the LH1000 amplifier. Tone pretty much set exactly straight up. No limiter, but I do put the bright switch on, and I set the volume at about 2. And then I play through 2 high drive 810 cabinets. And I've played every arena and stadium around the world this year, and that amp is on 2. Usually they're telling us to turn it down. That's how loud it is. So it's the Hartke gear is great. It sounds fantastic, and their support network around the world to help with supporting me on while I'm touring the world has really been fantastic. I can't say enough about it. Everybody in our camp is just thumbs up on Hartke.
Way back then, when you switched to Hartke, how did you decide, and how do you find this brand?
You know, it's interesting. I went in, there's a big chain of music stores in North America, in the United States, called Guitar Center, and there's a one of their big stores is on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, and I went in and I actually picked up there's a Jackson concert bass, not this one. This is kind of a reissue of that, but I picked up a concert bass. And went over to, there was a stack, I think, of 2 Hartke 410 cabinets and an amplifier, and I plugged in, and it was like, or probably went something like that, right? And it was like, bang, the tone was right there. So that really, for me, the Jackson bass into the Hartke cabinets, a tone was born on that particular day.
Yeah. Last year you returned to Jackson, if I'm right.
Right.
Why did you decide to go back to the roots?
You know, for me, coming back into Megadeth, especially with the Rust in Peace, is that we really wanted the sound of that record to really be as much a return to that particular era as possible. And there's only one bass that does that, and that's the Jackson basses. Now, we did a couple little updates. We put EMG pickups on it instead of, at the time they had, Jackson had some proprietary pickups. And so the EMGs sit a little better in the mix right now with where Sean Drover's drum tone is and where the guitar sound in Megadeth is. So we've used those. We also put on Badass 2 bridges, and we put on the hip shot tuners. Other than that, we left the back of the neck, it's sealed, but we basically didn't paint it, which really has a nice feel. There's kind of an integration of as a player, really just kind of being at one with the wood of the instrument that I really like. I haven't had most of my instruments done like that, and Jackson did that, and I've really come to like that. Other than that, the instrument is pretty much exactly the same. As far as the weight, it's a maple neck all the way through, and then there's alder wings glued onto that, which is what the construction is underneath of it. And I really like the paint. The silver bass was my first Jackson. Then I went out to the factory out on Milliken Avenue, way out in kind of past East Los Angeles, where Grover Jackson had his first shop, and me and Dave Mustaine went out there and talked to Grover, and Grover made our first guitars for us. For Dave, a Flying V, and for me, a silver concert bass. So for me, coming back and having a black and a silver Jackson bass was really, again, for me it was really giving it back to the fans, the really true to form, traditional Megadeth sound and the look of it, all the way down to the stretch jeans and our wristbands. Well, there you go, you know.
Wow.
Right? So really, the whole thing was really just taking our fans back in time to relive all of our lives 20 years ago.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Rock on.